Okay, so this is where things get a little, I don't know, dodgy, a little confusing for some. So notice how I've declared age because I want to have the user enter their age. So I know for a fact that I want these people to put, that I want my users to put a number in, alright? And I've set the default age to 0. Alright, so now I can say that if age, say, equals 0, then I kind of know that they haven't actually done anything. I can assume they've pressed the cancel key. Alright, then MSG box, maybe I'll just say that cancel button pressed, just because. And the other thing I might do is say else if age is greater than 16, then MSG box you can drive, and I'll just leave it at that for the moment. And let's just have a test, because technically if say they enter 8, then nothing will happen. If they push cancel, then it will, oh, what's going on here? Unhandled exception of tie system, invalid cast exception. Well, what does this mean? Okay, so remember in the last video I talked about anytime you get information from an input box, it's always a string, right? But this is trying to compare a string. As you can see, as I'm hovering over it, it tells me that it's a string, and this here is an integer. You cannot compare a string to an integer. It's like apples and oranges. So look, if I want to be more explicit in what I'm getting, there's a couple of things I can do. And number one is I can actually say dim age as integer. And what this is going to do now is it's going to declare age, a variable, as an integer. So it will only hold numbers. Okay, so technically what should happen now is if I type in, well, if I push the cancel button, alright, it should, oh, hang on, invalid cast exception. Why is that? Oh, that's another problem that we have. So, once again, it's trying to cast this string into an integer value. Well, we've got another little built-in function that can help us out. And this is the val function. And I'm just going to type in VAL, and I'm going to put in the open bracket, and I'm going to close this bracket. And basically now val is going to take this string and any values, any numbers in it, it's going to take those numbers and chuck it into the age. So now let's see if it works with the with cancel key. So if I push cancel, oh look, the cancel button is pressed. So there's two things that I did here. Alright, so let's just get rid of them and recap. Okay, so number one is, remember that input box always returns a string, and if you want to actually take a value from the user that is an integer, that's a number, or any other data type for that matter, you need to declare it. Whatever you're storing the value in, whatever you're storing the input from the user, you want to make sure it's explicit. So I want to have an integer. I want to have a number. Okay, so I'm going to first off declare age as an integer. Now if I want to cast a string, which remember, when I put a number into the message box, alright, that's a string. Alright, so in the computer, number 22 does not equal 22 in double quotes. Those are two different things. That's a string, that's an integer. You cannot compare a string and an integer. It's, again, apples and oranges. So in order for me to convert this, I can just, this is a cheap fix. I can put val and open brackets around the lot of it. And what that's going to do is it's going to take whatever numbers are in here that are a string, it's going to convert them to an integer, and it's going to chuck it into this variable. Whew! That's a lot to take in. All right, so go on to the next exercises and see if you can make it work. Good luck.